Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Good morning, team. Welcome back to another live day trading session. I'm your host, Johnny Trades, and today is January 9th, 2026. It is 7:26 my time. Market will open in about 3.5 minutes. We are currently watching, of course, Bitcoin, as it did get rejected off of 91,000 yesterday in the evening, pushed all the way down to 89,000 this morning at around 2 a.m., pushed up to 90, got rejected off of the moving average. It's now sitting at 90,400. MSTR had a nice rally yesterday from 156 to 170. It's now down to 165 pre-market. I'd like to see a nice sell-off today. If it happens, then we could buy MSTZ around $14 for a nice rally up to 15, maybe even $16 today. Now MSTZ sold off from 15.86 down to $13. 13.25 would have been a nice area to buy, as it is up to $14. That would have been a nice 75 cents per share already in profits. QQQ also selling off. Looks like it could not get above yesterday's high of 623. Sold off to 617. It was extremely choppy. And today, again, same thing. It pushed up to about 624. Couldn't get any higher than 624. It is currently up 0.12% in the pre-market. It's going to be testing this moving average. If the moving average fails as a support, then we will see this push down even further and sell off even more. If it can hold, then we could get a potential nice rally back up to retest 624 and ultimately 625 as a resistance. All right. And man, we got some snow today. We got like 3 inches overnight, which is insane. So we finally got our snow for the season. Our Starlink seems to be doing good though. We still have a green connection. Over 300 megabyte download speed, so that's great compared to CenturyLink. It's usually only about 50. All right, here we go. Let's see what's going on. Crypto market selling off. Love to see that. Which means MSTR pushed up slightly just now. Now I'd love to get a better price on MSTZ. I already bought 20 shares pre-market just to get a little position started. This pulls back to those $13 levels. I could load up and buy another, 80, 90, 100 shares. If it begins to rally, then I don't feel like I missed out on this opportunity, as I have a little bit of skin in the game. So it's all about managing your risk and position size when it comes to trading live with real money. And if you're even paper trading, of course, you want to make sure you do your part by paper trading, or when you do trade with real money, to make sure it's realistic. You make sure you have a set risk to reward, a set stop loss. My stop loss is around 1% to 2%. Max stop loss would be 5% on a single day. And yesterday I did not do a good job by managing my risk. I bought a little too high. It crossed over right here and I should have sold. Kept thinking it would bounce, it would bounce, it would bounce. And I actually was down, geez, like 10, 12, 13%, something like that, on a fairly large position size. So it's not about revenge trading today. It's about making calculated decisions, being patient, and making sure we do our part by just being consistent, making sure we stay consistently profitable throughout the day. Trying not to buy the highs too much, trying not to buy the lows. Let's see if we get a retest here. Now MSTR does have, you know, the track record of pushing up and selling off and pushing up. It also has a track record of, selling off overnight and then pushing up. Last few days, nice little V shapes here where it sells off, it recovers, it sells off, it recovers, it sells off, it recovers, it sells off. So we'll see how significant of a sell-off we can potentially get today. I'd love to buy a little bit more of this if possible, as it is beginning to sell off. I just don't want to get in too high and then it retrace on me, right? So here we go. It's still early as well. MSTR did break that moving average though, so wouldn't mind seeing some more selling pressure. Bitcoin could recover here. Up 2% on the day. On 100 shares, that would already have been 20 something dollars. See if this breaks support or if it holds. It's like Bitcoin is going to sell off a little bit more. Let's go ahead and buy another 20 shares. It's a little bit high to buy shares. Would have been nice to buy more shares down here. So we're adding 20 shares to this position. Let's see if we're testing support and we're going to bounce at these levels. Potential dip by opportunity, or will this begin to sell off even more? Looks like we're going to find out in the next couple of minutes. BTC testing lows of 90,000. I'd love to see this sell off more as well. All right, looks like we do have some selling pressure today. Trump's news on tariffs will be in the next 30 minutes, around 8 o'clock my time, so we'll see exactly what happens there. I could still buy another 60 to 100 shares, so just trying to be patient with my position size. Would have been nice to, of course, go all in. Some days the direction is in your favor, you should go all in right away, and some days it's better to just test the waters and lock in those profits. So There we go. Looks like Bitcoin is pushing back up. Looks like QQQ is finding some support here and pushing back up to that moving average. See how high up it can go. What we're going to do is just play the highs and play the lows today. Buying the lows, selling the highs. Looks like MSTR is getting rejected again. So what we're going to do is have a stop at 1460. 1460 is a little bit aggressive. Okay, maybe not. That would have been the area to sell at 1470. That's okay. Waiting, being patient. MSTR is still looking weak though. We'll see if we can get below 162. Just pushed up to 163. Bitcoin pushing up. You notice how Bitcoin is right back where it started this morning? MSTR is not. QQQ pushing up. Here we go. Nice green candle. See if this becomes overbought and begins to sell off. Looks like MSTR is finding some support at 162. But Bitcoin could come down just as fast. So we're going to be patient on this one. Now if it does run up, let's go ahead and show our cost basis. 40 shares isn't much, but if it does run up, you know, we can make $60 to $75 for those all-time highs. You know, potentially more if it pushes up higher. You know, if direction's, you know, still in my favor, we could add more to this position. Obviously, if it comes all the way down, I'd like to buy the dip around 13s. But right now my average is 1437. Trump tariff decision in the next 20 minutes. And that'll determine if the markets are bullish, if they're bearish. You know, right now I think we're just all waiting to see what happens there. It's holding very well above the moving average on the 30-minute. Okay, we got some resistance right there on that moving average. We'll see if it continues to sell up. Bitcoin also selling off slightly here. Going to be retesting that 90,000. Again, I don't want to buy at these all-time high levels. That's where I just made a mistake. I wanted to put a little bit of skin in the game. Of course, I should have bought more down here right away if I wanted more skin in the game. I bought 20 at $14.13. I bought another 20 at $14.62. So very high buy, but we still did a good job by only buying a small portion of our actual position size. So again, it's all about showing up and, of course, practicing, learning from our mistakes, trying not to repeat the same things we did the day before. The last couple weeks have already been full size, full position, 100 and, 30 shares, and just waiting, and it'll go down. I've had a drawdown of $90, and then it recovered in the same live trading session and made 40 bucks. I've had drawdowns where I'm down 40 and then it pushes up 40 and then it pushes up another 200. So what we're trying to do is just be more patient here. Making sure we don't miss out on the opportunities when they're given to us. Like right now we're up 2%. I'd love to see this run higher. So what we're gonna do is create a stop at 14. We'll create a stop at, what is that, 1460. And as it runs up, we could raise our stop higher. Okay, we're just gonna be patient. We could let this run up. Actually, I wouldn't mind taking that 1470 right there. It's up 1476. And again, we're just playing with the highs. We're playing with the lows. We have enough money to where if it does push down, we could buy more. If it begins to push up, we can get out of our position. So it looks like we are going to get filled here in just a second at 1470. Nothing too crazy. $13 or 2% for our first trade. Decent amount of money. It looked like we got stopped and it's going to run. So that's what's so crazy about these stocks too, is like some of them are stop hunters. Even if it's only 40 shares, I feel like it does a good job hunting those stops and then pushing higher. So now we're at that question of, okay, I could have held and made a few more dollars, but now I don't want to buy at an all-time high. See that 1482. And it is selling off, and sometimes you just have your stop a little bit too high. So I'll buy another 40 here. Do not copy me. Another 40 shares at 1480. So that's a cool thing too, is I can get back in as this begins to push down more. Bitcoin pushing down more. Like it was to a T on that stop loss, 1470, and then ran up to 1486, missing out on 16 cents for that share. Telling you can't make this stuff up. Now it's going to run up a little higher because sometimes it feels like that. Sometimes it feels like the market is against you, but it's not. We got to trade with our plan and not our emotions. I was up $15. Now I'm only up $9 because we didn't wait for that pullback. Bitcoin could continue to sell off, but it's crazy when that happens like that. QQQ consolidating above that moving average on the 1 minute. Looks like it's doing a good job trying to hold at these levels. All right, QQQ selling off. MSTR selling off again. Here we go, back up. It's crazy because even 40 shares at, you know, a 16-cent loss, or not loss, but gain, that would have been an additional $6 by not selling. We'd already have crossed over that $20 mark. So sometimes stop losses aren't the best things to have either set in place, or having a tight stop. If I would add, 1469, it wouldn't have got hit. It would have went to 1470 and shot up. So sometimes having a tight stop isn't the best way to go about it either. Making sure your stop loss has room to breathe, to where the stock can breathe, get those little micro pullbacks and run up, compared to having a tight stop and then getting stopped out and then it running up the way it just did for me. Now MSTR could push down to 158, even 155, so that's kind of what I was going for today. Doesn't have to, but I'd love to see that. This was a nice little play here. We were a little bit more aggressive. If we had bought the 100 shares right away at 1408, we'd already be up, $80 on the day. Okay, Bitcoin selling off again, retesting 90,000. Looks like it just broke 90,000. Here we go. It's gonna sell off up to 15. We're gonna do our part, of course, by creating a stop again. Okay, we got a $15 stop. Just let it run. If it's gonna run, let it run. Slowly raising our stop higher and higher as it runs up. Bitcoin to 89. MSTR selling off still. It's all about locking in profits, right? 1510. Up almost 2%, up 2% again. All right, are we going to get a rally on this thing? There we go, pushing still. Going to raise our stop a little bit higher. We don't want to miss out on more profits. 1511, 1520. And here we go. We got a nice green day here. So no matter what, we're risk-free. We're making our money. Continuing to push. And I think we're going to take our profits there at 15.19. Almost $30. If it hits it, great. We lock in profits again. If it continues to run up, great. So there we go. We just hit it. 15.21, $27 or 2.32%. Now, could it sell off more? Yes. Could we buy in again? Yes, we really can. So I believe we did a great job by identifying opportunity, identifying a trade setup, locking in profits. We're at 2% already. And it looks like this can sell off even more. Bitcoin is at 90 though, so if this runs up a little bit, MSTR will run up a little bit with it. Doesn't mean it has to, but we traded that pretty nice. 1521. Now this is a point where there's FOMO, right? Now it's the point where a lot of new beginner traders will see this run, will get in thinking it'll go higher, and they actually get in, and sometimes it'll sell off, and you actually lose money on a company that gained 9%. It's already up 9% on the day. Now that's 9% from, of course, yesterday's close. But even today, from where you could have bought in here down at 13.95, it's up 9.5%. So again, by being more aggressive, buying more shares down here, I could have locked in more money today. Now, did I feel a little more reserved today because of yesterday's loss? Yes, I did. I felt really more reserved. But also got to understand that every day is different. Every day will bring new opportunity, and we can't trade today like it was yesterday, right? We got to make sure that we do our part by, not getting that FOMO. Looks like Bitcoin is still selling off. Making sure we don't overtrade and give it all back. We're going to get in one more time. As MSTR is still selling off. Of course, we're going to have our stop in place, like always. Okay, nice little recovery. Bitcoin back to 90. It looks like I'm already giving back some profits here. We're not going to hesitate to lock in profits on this one. Right, MSTR, it's another leg down. And you know what? We are going to use a stop again. Our 1% stop. As it pushes up, we will push up with it. It's going to be a tight stop, but that's okay. Gonna have a very tight stop at 15.30. All right, not sure that trade was the best trade to take, right? Let's see here. What was that last trade? I bought at 15.36, sold at 15.29. So that one wasn't the best trade. I thought it was gonna run up a little higher, but it was a very light position, so it's not like we lost a lot. We made 1.75%, $25. So not bad. Not a bad trade at all. That 15.36.29, that's 7 cents. 20 shares times 0.07. So we lost $1.40, right? And again, having a tight stop loss like that, I just noticed that at 90,000, this was starting to run, and we can get a swift bounce back or rally with Bitcoin really at any moment in time. So I wanted to make sure I did my part by not giving back all those profits. And again, got stop hunted basically from 15.29. It's already up to 15.39, right? So it's a little bit higher than where we bought. So it's all about playing those lows and highs, making sure you don't have your stops too high. But we bought, sold for a profit. We bought and sold for a profit. And then we bought and sold for like the smallest, tiniest loss, right? Just $1. So we made $27, lost $1, and now we're only up $26, which is fine. You know, sometimes it's better to run these companies, sometimes it's better to be more aggressive. You know, again, buying down here 100 shares, I could have let this ride a little bit longer, but say I cut my losses at 100 shares, that was my entire position, let's just say, then I wouldn't have been able to take any more trades on this because I would have been out as far as a cash account. But by taking light position, locking in profit, seeing opportunity, buying again, locking in profit, we can continue to rinse and repeat and not only lock in profits, but get better at position sizing, get better at patience and timing. Yeah, I would have loved to have bought 100 shares down here at 14 and let it ride up. And there's, you know, $140, literally. $14 to 15. That's 100. That's 10%. 10% on $1,000, $100. 10% on $1,500, $150. $2,000, $200. And that's where you get your $100 or $200 days. Buying the low, buying the crossover. RSI was oversold, and as it bounced off of the oversold level here on the RSI, and MACD opened up, some volume, everything looked really good, it pushed up. This gave us the indication to basically step on the gas. But say I bought 100 shares and it got rejected and it began to sell off even more down to say these $13 levels. If I had 100 shares and it went down to 13, that's a $100 loss if I didn't manage my risk. Now if it bounced, just like you saw earlier, to where, okay, it sold off a little bit below this moving average. If I would have got nervous and sold out, then of course you wouldn't have had any buying power to buy back in to ride the rally. So you would have lost money, couldn't partake in the rally, and missed out on opportunity. So you would have lost money and missed money or opportunity to make more money. So by having a light position size when you first start out, you know, only bought 20 shares, could have bought that dip if I was a little faster. I could have experienced more of a significant pullback to 13s, bought the dip, or just got out and then bought more. But today wasn't one of those days. It pushed up very nicely. MSTR yesterday, we bought at these levels and we sold down here. We waited far too long and we didn't even have to sell. We could have held and never even occurred a loss. Now, we wouldn't have been able to buy any shares this morning because we would have held this position overnight. But, you know, we sold 128 shares down at 13.48 when that was pretty much the bounce yesterday, right? Even pushing up to 14.23 could have resulted in $100 in profit or $100 less of a loss, right? So it's all about experience. It's all about understanding your own risk management and your own trading style as well. Looks like we're seeing some resistance right around this level from yesterday. Could we break this resistance? Yes, we could. Do we have to? No. We could actually begin to roll over. What scared me was this bounce off of 89 and how aggressive Bitcoin is starting to push up. This pushes up to 90, then 9,300, and then 9,500, 9,700. MSTR would follow. And we would be having a different conversation right now, again. Bitcoin is doing a good job holding at 90,000. And there we go. There is a break above to new levels. Again, by being able to have shares and money to buy into these when they go up, or having the confidence to just get in a full size, knowing, hey, if it goes against me, it goes against me. And if it goes up, there's a beautiful, $150 day right there. $160 day. So, and all that is going to do is just help you by learning and growing over time, finding out what your trade style is. Do you like to even trade these kind of stocks? Are you more of a momentum trader pre-market? Are you more of a swing trader instead of a day trader? Are you a scalper? Are you trying to get, 10 or 20 cents a move? Because I can tell you it's unrealistic to think you could pull out $1 per share every single day. Now, of course, we found a company that does move about $1, $2 every day, but it can go either direction. And if it moves $1 and you're not managing your risk, you could be losing $1 per share. So it's very important to use stop losses. And just like that, we made 2% again on a 12% move. And that's sad to see. I still have a lot of work in my trading journey to become more profitable. I'm consistently green. I have green days, but at the same time, it doesn't seem like it's ever enough to really move the needle. Making $40 a day, $20 a day, $50 a day may not seem like a lot now, but we're building up those skills and we're building up the right mindset to where when we do trade with $10,000 or $20,000, we don't blow our account in a few days or in a few weeks. We are building up those skills, we're building up the confidence to be able to make those $200 days, $500 days, $1,000 days eventually. And we're only going to get there by, again, practicing, showing up every day, making sure we follow our trade plan, not going in too heavy on your position, etc. And that's another thing about trading too. Like, we could always beat ourselves up. We can always, say, hey, we did good here, we did bad here. Hey, I could have did better at this trade. I could have done worse, right? We made money. It could have been more money. And that's just not the right way to go about trading. There's always going to be opportunities. There's always going to be days where you can make more money. I mean, if you think about it, we traded one stock today, and there's thousands, if not tens of thousands of stocks and ETFs that you can trade. So sure, we made a few bucks and we missed out on a few bucks, but you could say the same thing about anything. Like, every day I don't sell potato chips, I'm missing out on an opportunity to make money selling potato chips. So you can't really have that mindset about missing money or having FOMO or fear of missing out on opportunities when there's opportunities all around us. People could think that MSTR is a solid buy right now. So they could be buying MSTR at 156 to go back up to 167. Can you do that? Yeah, you sure could. You could buy BMNR at $29. This will go up with Bitcoin as it did yesterday. It went from 29 to 31. And we could say that we missed opportunity there yesterday. That was an 8% move. $2 per share. There's opportunity all around us. It's all about making sure that we identify it. And look at this. I've been trading this for at least, 2 weeks? Look at all these trades. Tons and tons of trades. We pulled out over $400. Well, it was $250 the last week of 2025, the last week of December. We pulled out another $250 on that final couple days and first week of 2026. And this week, we're pulling out even more money now. Yeah, we had a loss yesterday, but we can always recover as long as our losses are smaller than our winners. we can always recover. And just like that, Bitcoin's down to 89.8. MSTZ is up to 1574. I sold at 1529. Another 20 shares. So I mean, even that right there was an extra 50 cents on 20 shares. Yeah, it's like 10 bucks. 20 times 0.5. Yep, another 10 bucks. So we could have been up $36. We could have been up $170 if we bought 100 shares here and being aggressive. So yesterday I was aggressive, bought 120 shares. It sold off, sold down here, lost money. Today I was more patient, should have bought the 100 shares and been more aggressive, and we would have made a decent amount of money. We could have been up 12, 13%. And again, it's just all about showing up, making sure we manage our risk the same way we did here, not give back all of our profits. And now it's all about walking away. We made $26 on a fairly lighter position, buying 20 shares and then 40 shares. Next time I could buy 40 shares and I could be selling, 40 shares at a little bit for more money, right? We could be up $50 again today. Locking your profits, still identifying opportunity, buying and selling. This one was a weird move. 1484 at 40 shares, 1470. So actually I did lose a few cents on this one. This one, 1484, 40 shares, 1518, made a little bit back. 1536, 1529, lost a little. So it's all about just risk management, buying these pullbacks, waiting for the opportunity to buy the pullback. And that's why I bought the 20 shares here. I didn't want to miss this move, but I didn't want to go so heavy that if it went against me, I lost money. I could have added to this position, maybe not at the all-time high, maybe at this pullback. So instead of at 1462, we're buying at 1450, 1441. Buying that pullback and then letting it ride up. So, again, still have a lot of work to do in my own trading journey. I think we all have areas we can improve on. Not every day is going to be an insane winner where you're going to make, 10, 20%, but locking in 2% a day, that's 10% a week. That's 40% a month. And sometimes you get lucky and you hit these 12% moves to where you can make your entire weekly or monthly goal in a single day. All right. Looks like we've been going live for about 44 minutes. This is where I'm going to end the live stream. We usually go live for about 30 minutes to an hour, Monday through Friday. So again, if this is your first time watching, this isn't the one and only time I'll be live. Just like this isn't the one and only trade we're ever going to take. If you are a member of the Discord, I just want to welcome you to the team. I know we're getting, new members every single day, and of course, I can't see who's watching the live stream from day to day. So do me a favor, next week when you do trade live with us, you know, put in the comments, say hi, hello, so I know who's watching. If you have any questions, you can ask me. It doesn't distract me or bother me when you guys ask questions. I actually encourage it. You should be able to ask questions when trading live. What does this line mean? What are these indicators? How do you get order book level 2 data? Why is your trading desk set up like this? Your trading station? What's your mindset behind taking the trade? I want you guys to get comfortable with this community. I want you guys to get comfortable with asking me questions because that's the whole reason why I do these live streams. Now, I may do a good job by already explaining my thought process, or maybe I answer a lot of the questions you might have, and that's where it comes to um, being part of a community and where it becomes, being a good teacher. I'm not the best teacher, but I'm learning to grow my account. I'm learning to grow this community. I'm learning to be a more open um, conversationalist when it comes to my mind. Like, what am I thinking and why am I doing what I'm doing? And if you guys enjoy these live streams, smash the like button for me. Let me know in the Discord. DM me, if you want to take the questions and the conversation a little bit more private, direct message me in the Discord and we can talk. I've had several one-on-one calls with Discord members. We have, different ways we can do that. You could call my phone, we can text, we can do a voice chat in the Discord. I could set up a Zoom call, whatever you're comfortable with. I love to get to know each and every one of you a little bit more on a personal basis, maybe have those elevator talks. If you don't know what that is, it's, when you meet a stranger in the elevator and you're waiting to, go to your floor. You have those small conversations. Hey, how are you? What's your name? What do you do for a living? What are you struggling with? What can I help with? Tell me a little bit about yourself, your trading journey, your trading style. We have people who trade options. We have people who trade futures, stocks, crypto. We have so many people in the community that I want us to all begin to get comfortable communicating and talking with each other so that way we can all grow together, learn together, and who knows, there may even be a Discord member around your area that you live. And then you guys can have met a friend or even a trading buddy in your area, right? We live in a digital world, but remember, there is all these people here are people who are living their lives and we're all struggling or growing together. And I want us to get comfortable with that. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for letting me know you're here and present. And yeah, that's where I'm gonna end this live stream, guys. I want to wish you guys all a happy. And yeah, I want you guys to have a great weekend. This is literally the first week in January. Yeah, you could say second week, but really we only had one trading day on Friday for December, so I'm not really going to count that as a week. But this was the first official full week of trading in January. Okay, not only do we have 3 more weeks in January, we still have another 51 weeks in the year to trade, to become a better, more profitable trader, to develop and learn and grow our trading skills, to find our trading style. So that way we can begin to make profits and supplement our life with more income. Maybe you want to quit your job. Maybe this can be your part-time or full-time job eventually. Maybe you just want to make a couple extra $100 a week, maybe a couple extra $1,000 a week. And remember, everyone starts somewhere where they're comfortable with. Some people start, and I encourage it to start with paper trading. You can literally do all of this that we're doing right now. You can follow along. You can even take the same trades I'm taking, but with paper trading. There's no monetary risk. There's no financial loss. There's also no gain except for the knowledge that you're going to have through the experience of trading. Meantime, you could be looking for a brokerage account that makes sense to you, that you like. I like WEBULL. It's something I personally enjoy. I used to use TD Ameritrade, Thinkorswim. I used to use Robinhood. I've used the Moomoo app. There's a lot of different ones that you can use. So I want you to know that everyone starts in different places. Everyone has different backgrounds. But the point is to get started. The point is to start practicing. The point is to make sure that you don't risk more money than you're willing to lose. All right? Buy one share. You're not going to make a ton of money, but could you afford to buy one share at $14? It's $14. Maybe you can. Maybe you put $20 into your investing account. Could you afford $20? Maybe you can. Pushes up $1, $1.50, you just made $1.50 on the day. And that's where you start. That's where you start developing those skills. That's where you start developing your trade style. I've done that before. What, 6, 7, probably almost 8 years ago, I was trading with $100. And then I built up confidence and started trading with $500, then $1,000, and then $5,000. I had a point where I had over $10,000 and I was trading with it. Did it make me feel comfortable? Not at that time. But as we grow, as we develop our skills and our confidence, we can begin to trade with more money. But it all starts with buying your first share or build your confidence up with paper trading. So appreciate you guys' time. Hope this was informational, educational, or at least motivating and inspiring to you to start your trading journey. Hit me up in the Discord. I'd love to know more about you, and we'll see you all for another week of live day trading sessions at Market Open. I go live Monday through Friday. I try not to miss ever if possible, but sometimes there's holidays, sometimes bad internet connection, or sometimes I'm even really sick. I know I had the flu a couple of weeks ago, and that was rough. So moving forward, we're going to be providing a lot more value and content to you. So don't forget to subscribe, smash the like button, and we'll see you all over in the Discord. Have a great day, guys.